Hey guys, gals, and NBs. I'm here today with the Novation Peak. So I finally ended up just buying another one. I've used the Novation Peak in the past. I owned one. It was an absolutely fantastic synth, but then unfortunately we had an issue where the upstairs neighbors decided that they were going to flood their bathroom, and we had a leak, and it went down on my Peak and some other equipment. It destroyed my original Peak. It was at the point when, it was hard to find things because of just parts availability, and my rental insurance is deductible. I think it was $1,500 as far as I remember, and that was more expensive than buying a new Peak. So fast forward to now, just this week, I ended up getting a new Novation Peak. They went back on sale. I should say sale. They didn't really go on sale. They went back to the original $13.99 that they were originally sold for. I remember my original one. I think I had it back all the way in 2017 or 2018 when it was still a fairly new synth. But yeah, new one, as you heard from the opening. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to entitle this video something along the lines, the Peak is probably the best sounding synth you can buy today, at least in my opinion, or one of the best sounding synths. And we'll get into why. It's so wonderful. We'll make a quick patch here. I'll discuss the things I like about it. Not really too much of a deep dive, but it's going to be shown more in my music. Once again, if you look at my channel previously, there's quite a few usages of the Peak before that issue went down. But yeah, here, finally, another Peak. And I'm so glad I did it. I forgot how wonderful it sounds, but yeah, let's just get into it. So you heard from that opening, I had that lovely pad, which uses wavetables. And as you can see, unlike usually when I do things, there are no external effects. The reverb, the delay, and the chorus on this thing are absolutely phenomenal. There's very few synths out there that have just this level of effects. I've never owned a synth that has better effects than this thing. I can't think of one. So even using like third-party effects on the Minilog lineup just doesn't come close to this. So one of the real magics behind the Novation Peak is it uses an FPGA for a lot of its functionality. So the magic between an FPGA versus using a DSP, you can run multiple tasks in parallel. You can define hardware on silicon without having to make your own. I'm going to get a little nerdy here, without making your own ASIC and having to spin your own silicon and so forth. So if you can dream up a digital circuit that you have the space for on an FPGA, you can design it. So in this case, the Peak has an extremely powerful oscillator section, no aliasing on any of the oscillators because of how it's implemented. The reverb, the delay, and the chorus effects are also ran within the FPGA. And like the amazing part of this is like a 24 megahertz FPGA. Since so much of it can be done in parallel, you don't have to wait for routines to finish and spin up new processes and things like that. You can just get so much more out of an FPGA in the same clock speeds. And there's things you just can do that you can't do on a DSP within an FPGA, especially for highly parallel processing and for things in the audio realm. It's really cool. So that out of the way, the other section that makes this absolutely fantastic is most of the audio section, the audio path, besides the FPGA that runs the oscillators and the effects, the filters, the VCAs, the pre-post drive distortion, those are all analog. So that just adds to the wonderful characteristics of the audio to this thing. So yeah, that said, I mean, you get just such awesome things like that. And yes, at the heart, it is kind of a wavetable synth, but it also does, I don't want to say it's virtual analog because it is actually, it's a hybrid. It's analog. And the oscillators are such high quality with, like I said, very low aliasing that you can just pretend that they're basically DCOs because they're so perfect in terms of their audio creation. They're not going to drift. You can make it drift. You can absolutely do that. But yeah, let's just work on a patch, I guess. So I'm going to use the awesome initialize button. I think more synths should have that, and we'll have a saw. And there are some tricks up its sleeve. One of the cool things, so Novation's really known with the Ultranova and the Super, not the Ultranova because that's way later in its lifespan. I should go with the Supernova for being used in a lot of trance music, especially ATB, I believe, used a Supernova. So with trance music, you obviously get a super saw, and this can have 3 super saws at the same time. And they're very easy to implement, so we'll do that with oscillator 1. So we go into oscillator here, and then we can go over to oscillator 1, and we want to go here. So we have a saw wave set by default. Let's make sure all the other oscillators are turned down. And what we can do here is we can go into the saw density. We can turn up the super saw here. And then obviously we could set the detune of the super saw. So yeah, that is just lovely. And let's hear the filter. So you got a 12 dB and a 24 dB function on it, and we'll turn it down. So, and then we'll use mod envelope here. So let's go ahead and get some attack, some sustain, and then we'll turn the envelope depth. Oh yeah, there you go. You got that riser sound, the trance riser. And we'll give it some resonance. The resonance sounds lovely on this. All right, and let's give it some more release. Mind you, that's only one oscillator. It's just amazing. And I said that the effects are world class. I'm not kidding. You can get away with just using this. Forget having to use an external reverb. I mean, something like the Cloudburst or the MVX has its own little character to it, and things like, or the Mercury X. I don't know why I said MVX, but like the Mercury X and things like the Cloudburst and things have their own character to it that you can't really get with this. But this has a very huge modulated reverb, and it is fantastic. So we'll turn it on. So by default, the effects are in parallel. So let's do that and make sure this is on mode 3, which is the big. Turn up the we can go ahead in the FX section. You can set the routing to be like chorus into delay into reverb, all parallel routing, and multiple things like that. So we'll go to the reverb section of that, and we'll see that we have obviously your low pass dampening, your high pass dampening, and then you have modulation depth, which we can turn way up. We'll turn a little more speed because obviously it modulated delays sound awesome. And we'll turn the reverb size all the way up to 127, and this is the reverb feedback, so this will sound pretty cool. Turn the level down just a little. Just amazing. Let's hear the other effects. So the delay is pretty, it's bog standard. It's nothing to super like crazy. It can do some cool things. It is a stereo delay, so what you can do is under effects, you can make it a ping pong delay if you really wanted to. So you go to type, you set it to crossfeed, you set then you have to go in and set a left and right ratio. We'll do a 3 and 4. And you can set a slew rate for it, so based on how you change the time is how it'll do your pitching and stuff like that. So yeah, it got some pretty cool functionality there. Now the chorus is absolutely fantastic. You got a 2-tap, a 4-tap, and an ensemble, so let's hear those. Absolutely wonderful there too. So yeah, just the effects section. It is a very expensive synth, but if you absolutely just want a synth that'll work perfectly without any external effects, because effects make a synth just shine, then this is the one. It also has distortion. I'm not going to get too much into that because then you overdrive the effects. I mean, we can listen to that. Let's listen to distortion a little bit. Sorry about that. It's a little, it's crunchy. Let's just put it that way. But then you have VCA gain, which can really push the filter. That you got your traditional overdrive too, and just so much to give so much warmth to this. So yeah, I mean, the effects just world class on it. I'm gushing about this because I forgot how much I loved the Peak and how I should have just gotten another one after my first one was unfortunately destroyed. But yeah, so there's some really cool features, especially with the mod matrix. So I made a video a long time ago. I think it was almost 3 years ago. It had to be around the time that I got the modal Argon 8, which I actually just sold my Argon 8 because I got the Peak again and I forgot how much better the Peak is than the Argon. But since this does wavetables and normal oscillators, and you can even load wavetables, something Modal said that they weren't even going to bother with. So, I mean, they're kind of hurting right now, unfortunately. But, you know, they should have listened to their customer base. And I think a lot of people have. I'm not going to say that. I don't know why they went under because they did make a good product. But, you know, they just weren't kicking out a lot of features for it. But Novation listened. When I first got this synth way back in the day, like not this one in particular, but you know what I mean. When I first got it, I asked Novation literally in Twitter. I showed them the videos I was making with it, and I asked them, "Are you ever going to add user wavetables?" And then a month later, they said nothing. And then a month later, they hit me up on I think it was Twitter and said we have a firmware update, and I was super excited. They actually added this. I'm sure a lot of people ask. It wasn't me, but yeah, I'm just saying a lot of people ask about putting custom wavetables on it, and lo and behold, they did. And the wavetable editor on the actual application is pretty easy to use, which I like. There's only like 8 slots, I think, for user wavetables, but that said, go back to some of my older videos, look up Peak, do a search on my channel. I made a video about that, and I also made a video about using KK Slider from Animal Crossing's voice as one of the wavetables. It sounded really cool through this. I should make another modern, now that my production quality is a lot better than it used to be, but a modern video about using custom wavetables on this. Well, enough rambling about that. Let's listen to some wavetables and some cool things. But I was going back to the modal video, where I said you can use FM and noise as a modulating or a source to FM like noise into your patch. This does a similar thing. You can use noise as a pitch destination or a source for like pitch and stuff like that, and it sounds absolutely wonderful. So we're gonna try initializing a patch here again. And we're going to use a wavetable. We're just going to use a single oscillator. Again, this thing can sound so massive with just 3, but even with 1, just damn. Yeah, we'll use one of my favorites. We'll use where is it? It's called like Tokyo or something like that. Yeah, it's Tokyo. So we'll listen to it. Whoops. We have to pick more, so now... Oh, hold on. I didn't do that right, but there we go, Tokyo. We'll start here, and then we'll add an LFO to it. Shape my envelope. Let's filter it a little. We'll use a 12 dB. And then we'll go into the mod matrix, which this has an extremely complex mod matrix too. So what we're going to do here is, oh, damn it. I just went back and screwed that up, didn't I? Yeah, I'm using the wrong knob. Again, I have to get used to this thing again. So yeah, let's go back to more. Let's choose Tokyo. Let's find the wave state, the part. Let's turn up this and LFO it. I mean, good enough. We'll choose 12 dB here. Attack, release. And then we'll go to mod matrix again. We'll choose the source. And the source is going to be noise. So let's find noise, destination, and we want to change it to pitch. We want to add the depth up. So like I said in my Argon video so long ago, I was using FM noise on that, FMing the oscillator pitch, but this you can just do it from the noise. You know what? Actually, let's use the filter envelope on this thing. So. Let's turn down the sustain. Turn to the decay. It's actually cool. Oh, that's a little too weird. Okay, turn up the release there. Okay. Too much resonance. A little too fast, but yeah, you're getting the idea here. So let's make it less harsh. Let's add a little bit of filter drive. And that sounds really cool, especially with just that warble you get from using noise to FM. Well, it's not really FM, but kind of, because, I mean, it is FM because you're modulating a frequency with another noise or sound. Noise in this case, but yeah. All right, so let's go into the FX section. So we're going to go ahead and use a series effects routing. And to do that, we're going to go into FX here, and we're going to go back to the main section where it says parallel, and we're going to use CDR, obviously, because that's my favorite. Chorus into delay into reverb. They don't call it the Zoom DCR, for instance. It's, if you know the multi-effects pedal, it's the Zoom CDR. Chorus into delay into reverb. I mean, that's not what they mean by that. That just means it does chorus, delay, and reverb. But yeah, that is my go-to. So one thing you have to worry about here, I've noticed this, and this has been since version like forever ago on this. Unfortunately, if you do this, this is really easy to distort. And the thing that I found out, that what it does is it keeps a wet and dry signal throughout the entire loop into each other, and it kind of like gains, it over gain stages. So to make this work the best, what you want to do is you want to turn down the entire dry level. You're not turning off dry when you do this, because there's always going to be dry through the effects as long as you don't go above like 100 or so. Well, at 127, which is the highest that these will do, it'll be completely wet. I'll show you. So they're all off now. So now the problem with this is if I press the bypass, it's just going to kill everything, right? It's not just going to affect that, but we have a full dry signal now, and it's not overgained. So I can show you what I mean. So if I turn this up now, see now how if I turn off the effects and turn it on, it sounds different? That's because it's doing a really weird routing. So let's just turn off dry all the way, and then go ahead and now, but you'll see what I mean now. We can turn this all the way up, and this will be completely wet now. But if we keep it around the 64 mark or so, that'll be like half and half, and then you'll still get the dry and the wet. Cool. All right, so now let's turn up delay. Really cool. Let's turn off this so we can listen just to the delay. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the delay stereo. Of course we are, aren't we? We want a stereo delay. So let's go back here, go to this, and then we're going to go into type, and we're going to change it to crossfeed. So no reverb. We still have our wet, even though the dry, even though we have dry turned off, because each of the effects units will have dry going through it still. We just can't bypass it correctly in this mode. But that's okay. We don't need to bypass it because the effects sound great. So, yep, stereo delay. Now into this lovely reverb, which we're going to turn up the time, make sure it's here. I'm going to bring it down right around there. And then we want to turn on the ensemble. Turn down the rate a little. We can turn down the rate on the LFO that's modulating our wavetable. A little too high there, but yeah. Yeah, so this thing is fantastic. All right, so before I leave with this video, I'm going to go back to my patches, and I made some the other day, and I have a plucked patch I just wanted to let you listen to, so just how versatile this is. And the delay is synced in this, which means that if we go ahead and use the built-in arpeggiator, we get perfectly aligned delay, and just it's so wonderful. Again, and that's using a lot of the characteristics of the filter and just the sound engine itself. And what am I using here? I think if I go, yep, I'm using Tokyo. I just love that wavetable. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you like this video. Let me know if you want to see more things on the Peak itself. I'm definitely going to use it more often. I hate using external effects on it because they sound so good, but the effects are pretty basic. I mean, yes, they sound world class, but you don't have anything like pitch shifting delays or tape delays. You do have on one of the firmware updates, you get flanging and things like that. So there's now flanging and stuff in there in the chorus, and you do have a lo-fi delay that just kind of makes it very long and lo-fi, and you have modulated reverb, but you don't have modulated delay, you don't have a tape delay, you don't have an analog style delay. And the chorus, I'm not going to say anything bad about the chorus. The chorus on this is fantastic. This bests pretty much any digital chorus pedal you can get, like the Eventide or even the Strymon, the Ola and the Eventide Triceracoris. This bests that, and that it's built into the synth, so that one I will give. The only thing that I wish it had some like kind of effects insert on it, like in a stereo. It would be pretty complicated to do, but what if you had a stereo effects insert where you could use all these effects along with like another effects chain? So if you wanted to put a pitch shifter and things in that, not like you really needed one, but yeah, it's just a thought. Or if you had an external input on this thing so you can affect another synth because just how good everything sounds, like maybe send it through the filter drive and things like that. But it is what it is. It's a fantastic synth. Yes, it's on the pricey side, but damn is it good. Again, thanks for watching.